It's time for another edition of a Thanksgiving weekend tradition. It's the Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off here at the Galvin Court, White Bear Lake. The second year White Bear Lake has played host to this event. Mike Peden with you, and Alex Nagel, for lack of better judgment, will be with me throughout the day. We'll start with a couple of teams that have a lot of building to do, the Mahtomedi Zephyrs and the Anoka Tornadoes. Anoka reached state last year, but they graduated a lot of pieces from that team, including Maddie Frecking. They've got a young group, and that's going to put more of an onus on anchors like Deborah Ayeni if Anoka wants to get the win today.
You know, the one thing about Anoka, if you're the Tornadoes, you've got to feel pretty good about yourselves. They're picked to finish first in a Section 7 Class 4A. And, if you're Anoka, I think you got to feel pretty good about your chances, especially with the players that you do have starting today. You've got a pretty good nucleus there.
Deborah Ayeni had 21 points and 10 rebounds, but Anoka as a whole struggled, especially on offensive rebounds in the loss to Forest Lake. Mahtomedi, they bring back a few pieces. Grace Prose had 28 in the season opener against St. Anthony Village, but it wasn't enough for the win. Sarah Popard, who transferred to Mahtomedi last year, now at Hill Murray. So Mahtomedi, they don't have to exactly start from scratch, but now they have to rediscover their identity.
That's right, and I like how you put that, Mike. It's you have to carve a new identity for yourselves, and when you look at this Mahtomedi team, they're in a pretty loaded section. When you look at Section 4 Class 3A, picked to finish behind both De La Salle and Hill Murray, so they may have a little fence mending to do early on in the season.
Let's introduce the starters for you. Anoka, the home team for this game. They will start Jay Latana, Drew Pederson, Abby Holgrenson, Deborah Ayeni, the South Missouri commit, and Angel Chibichi. Drew Pederson, by the way, going to Bethel next year. Mahtomedi will start Mira Nelson, Delaney Dummermuth, Lucy Peer, Grace Prose, and Berkeley Blaisdell. So, Alex, you have a little extra motivation for this game with Drew going to Bethel next year, I would think.
That's an awfully nice pickup for head coach John Herbertsmeyer and his staff there at Bethel, an already loaded team that got a big victory here the other night up at Moorhead against Concordia.
Of course, Drew Pederson, you may recall, the hero in the Section 7 4A final against Centennial last year, hit the game winner that sent Anoka to state. And it gave Deborah Ayeni a rare distinction. Not too many girls basketball players can say they made a state tournament in football, but that's what she was able to do. She finished up her football career, played defensive line
cool.
and tight end. Yeah.
One of the things I think we'll see early on in this contest, how do these two teams get past their pregame jitters? That's what I'm anxious to see here.
And as typical in the first week of the season, as we get underway, we do see that rustiness, that shakiness. There's Angel Chibichi with the side fade off the backboard. Dead ball rebound to Anoka. But I had the chance to see the Eastview Providence game on Tuesday. Deborah Ayeni missing the jumper off the inbound. And Alex, how many times have we said this? The teams we see in November will not look anything like what we see in March. There's a deep three from the Zephyrs. That was Lucy Peer. Going underneath. No dice for Dummermuth. Deborah Ayeni with the rebound. I think the biggest change, Alex, for Anoka, their post presence a little more shallow than a year ago because you had Maddie Frecking and Deborah. Now it's just Deborah for the time being. And Nick Novak had a chance to talk to him. He said, I'm calling on Deborah to take more of an authoritative role. This is Dummermuth. Spots a lane. Foul before the take. And on the Mahtomedi side, Alex, it seems like every year they put together some solid campaigns, but they have yet to break through.
Yeah,
they've never appeared in a state tournament.
Again, you look at their section, you see the teams ahead of them. That's probably a very good reason as to the why.
Hill Murray has a big three again with the Wilsons, and now Popard. De La Salle, here's a three from the wing. That's offline. Rebound to Ayeni. Deborah, the youngest, of 3 siblings, had 2 brothers who played football, one at St. Thomas, and another now coaching Anoka's football program. Chibichi doubled, gives it up to Ayeni. Tough pass. Deborah, not known as a point guard or a distributor per se. Here's a 3 from the Zephyrs. And you're not going to move Deborah if she gets positioning down low.
Well, so far, both teams coming up empty on their first few possessions here, Mike.
Anoka looking to change that, and they'll have a chance at the line. Jayla Tana fouled. And Alex, not only do we have the usual crop of changes and graduations, we also have several reclassifications. So Section 7 looking a little different this year.
Yeah.
As Tana gets the front end to drop. Coon Rapids moving back up to 4A. And Monticello, Alexandria both moving up to 4A over in Section 8.
I'm still trying to get my arms around the fact that Maple Grove is no longer in the Northwest Suburban Conference.
They are now in the Lake. Of course, I'll be seeing them tomorrow. They play Eastview. Tana did not score against Forest Lake, so these are her first points of the season. Here's Demermuth. Ayeni cut her off. Chibichi with the rock. Scramble. Deborah Ayeni trying to clean up the mess. Dead ball rebound to the Tornadoes. We'll get a couple Northwest Suburban teams to start our coverage. Osseo already played, getting the win over Visitation. Dead ball rebound to Mahtomedi. We're still looking for our first field goal, Alex. 2.5 minutes in.
Well, both teams still trying to find their way through choppy waters here on the offensive end. Let's see if the Zephyrs can finally break the ice on this possession.
High-low broken up. Chibichi comes up with it. Ayeni. Again, coming up from the key like that, probably not what you want to do, but Jayla Tana is there for our first field goal. Banking in the runner.
Not the easiest layup by Tana. Had kind of a long one, but she got a nice kiss off the glass.
Demermuth out to Nelson along the wing. Grace Prose, bullseye. Prose, the daughter of former Mahtomedi coach Eric Prose. Chibichi. Prose trying to cut off the option. Oh, Anoka had the backdoor play, and Drew Pederson, the pass was low, but
well, I tell
you, Alex, I think that was a layup that Anoka lost out on.
Yeah, well, you know, that was a great grab by Tana over there on the far side, grabbing that high pass that could have gotten away from him right there.
And then the pass was a little low, but Pederson couldn't snag it. If she did, she has a wide open lane. Free throws coming for Berkeley Blaisdell.
Nice move by Blaisdell. I think that's one key for Mahtomedi in this game, Mike. You know, despite this, you know, that Anoka has the size advantage, Mahtomedi has to be willing to take some chances penetrating into the lane.
Blaisdell knocks down the freebies, and that gives Mahtomedi a 5-3 lead. Both teams looking for their first win of the season. Blaisdell had 5 points.
Zephyrs showing some half-court pressure here.
But then a bailout foul will give the ball back to Anoka. I had a chance to catch up with Chris Bierman, who's the coach of Coon Rapids, Alex, and he noted with Maple Grove leaving to the Lake Conference, the Northwest Suburban, it's going to be a bloodbath, he said. There are a couple of teams that are expected to have down years, but Coon Rapids, they could be a team on the rise. Park Center got a big win over St. Anthony Village earlier this week. Centennial has a new coach. Blaine has a new coach. Anoka lost a lot of talent. There may not be a favorite. Elk River could be the front runner, but they're going to be in a section that has STMA and Monticello if they can get out of their early season funk. So the Northwest Suburban is going to look a lot different. And Grace has a new coach too. We'll see them in our next game.
I spoke with him here about a week and a half when I was covering a game over at Augsburg, and he gave me the same impression. He seems to be very high on his own team. He's done a lot of work rebuilding that Coon Rapids program, and you never know. They may find themselves in the mix.
All part of that uncertainty, the wild card factor. After this first week of games, Alex, with the new season here, I don't have an early favorite. Class A, of course, is always the hardest. Here is another three from Prose. It's short. And the rebound collected by Ruby Lackinen, who I presume is related to Lydia Lackinen. Ayeni trying to hook up with Malia Clay. Pederson. Anoka just looks unsettled right now. Clay blocked. Stays with it, can't bank it in.
And the Tornadoes right now with all sorts of problems on the offensive end. Not getting any cohesion to their offensive attack here. They got to start cleaning some things up.
Rena Becker got the block.
That's one way to do it off of the inbounds pass.
Well, they ran the same play a few minutes ago for Ayeni. She couldn't put it down. This time, Ruby Lackinen does convert, and we're even at 5. Blaisdell to Prose. Blaisdell again. 9 on the shot clock. No changes to the shot clock timing procedures. Prose, nowhere to go. That was a good set defense by Anoka. Pederson looking to penetrate, now fades away. Those are always tough to convert, but I thought she had the ball. Instead, it's Blaisdell who snatches it. Blaisdell trying to weave through Ayeni. Can't get it to fall. Dead ball rebound to Anoka. But Alex, after this first week, I don't know if I have a heavy favorite in any class. Providence Academy, they're a little smaller.
Right.
They still have the best player in the state, Amanda Greenway, so they'll be a contender. But they might run into some turbulence in 2A. We'll have to see what the rest of the field looks like. 4A, I think Hopkins has to be the early favorite because they bring back a lot of pieces that won it a year ago.
Yep.
And we saw a team that was down 2 starters pull it out in the state championship. 3A, Benilde St. Margaret's has a lot of talent. Orono, if the Moore sisters stay healthy, could give them a run in that section. Delano could be a sleeper. They gave BSM a run earlier this week. And in Class A, take your pick. I don't get to cover a lot of Class A ball. Short corner J. Swish. Becker with the bucket.
Nice shot from Becker there from the left side.
Ayeni gets bumped.
One thing I am seeing, Mike, and that I like from Mahtomedi, they're showing some patience on the offensive end. Where Anoka, meanwhile, it looks like they're rushing things a little bit, and there's just no cohesiveness right now.
And that would fall in line with what Nick Novak told me before the game. They're a young team, and they have to get that experience. I think just 3 players with significant minutes came back. So that's a lot of learning curve to traverse. Ayeni cuts her way inside and will shoot 2.
Well, she's a load to handle down low, that's for sure.
And Anisha Fisher getting a bench warning. One week in the season, Alex, and I've already seen some feistiness unfold. Providence Academy in Eastview. That was a battle I won't forget.
I wish I could have seen that. Meanwhile, that appears to be the fifth foul on Mahtomedi.
Deborah Ayeni going to Southeast Missouri State, known as SEMO. Always wanted to go D1. And I had a chance to get to know her a little bit. Foul on the rebound, and Anoka will keep possession with 11:33 left. I did a feature on Deborah's football expedition for NSPN, and no matter who I talk to at AAU or at Anoka, everyone has something positive to say about Deborah. Here's a three from Anoka. In and out it goes. That was Jemiah Viney. Of course, with the new season, I always have to get accustomed to the new names that show up. But what's the saying, Alex? We get older and they don't.
Yes.
When it comes to covering hoops at this level. I guess you could say the same about college and the WNBA too. Prose fires, bullseye. Grace Prose with a couple of triples. That makes it 10-6. And Alex, based on the first game and based on the early action here, it looks like Grace Prose is going to assume the leadership mantle for the Zephyrs. Elbow jumper. Getting a piece of it was Becker. Rena coming up with some defensive hustle plays. And getting free throws will be Blaisdell.
Well, right now the Zephyrs are taking advantage of the opportunities given to them, Mike. Berkeley Blaisdell goes to the line. Shooting two. Chance to build on this 10-6 lead that they have.
Blaisdell knocked down her first pair of free throws. Mahtomedi had a fantastic season a year ago. Anna Green, the leader of the bunch. But they came up short in sections, losing in the semifinals. Anoka. Nothing doing. Play was cut off. Mahtomedi looking to go on the run. Prose again,
whoa,
feeling it. Prose with 8. Chabichi looking for the answer. Prose gets the rebound with one-on-one. Tries the kick to Blaisdell, nearly throws it away. Illegal screen.
Oh, so that was only a two-pointer back.
Yes, yep.
Okay, all right. Well, nonetheless, Anoka has some making up to do here, and they've got to find some continuity on the offensive end, and it just hasn't been there yet.
Only 2 field goals for Anoka in the first 8 minutes and change.
And that's kind of been Anoka's offense in a nutshell in this first half thus far.
Fortunately, the trash can is empty. I was worried if there was like a pizza or a popcorn down there. But the official, he's going to have to put his jersey in the laundry, I think, tonight in the washer.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen something like that happen.
I mean, that's a great trick shot. Unfortunately, it's a turnover in this game.
I was at a loss for words.
So was I.
Words happen.
I mean, you don't want to go for the obvious reference. I mean, Anoka, if you talk to the coach, he might feel like they're playing like trash, but there's still lots of time to go. Prose again. Off the iron and over to Chibichi. Let's avoid the trash can this time. Alex, 1 week into the season, I've already seen some strange sights. There's a runner by Drew Pederson.
But, I was just going to say, I like that last possession by Mahtomedi there. Becker had a chance to put a three-point shot up. She passed it up, chose to drove into the lane instead of, even though they came up empty, she didn't settle for a reckless three.
And on the other end, Pederson finds the bucket that Anoka is aiming for. Alex, I have seen, on Tuesday, I saw both Greenways get a technical in an emotional game against Eastview. I've seen all sorts of sights that I thought I'd never see at a semi-pro game. I saw a wedge ball on a three-point or on a foul that led to free throws, so they had to do a jump ball. I'm trying to think of all the sights you and I have seen. Foul on Mahtomedi, and here's a chance for Anoka to pick up some points in the bonus. It's Drew Pederson who goes to the line.
Now being safely in the bonus, now they have a chance to do some making up here. Let's see if Pederson can cash in here.
Drew Pederson, 6 points and 3 rebounds, again going to Bethel. So she won't be straying too far from here. Bethel located in Arden Hills.
No, not at all.
(14-10). Zephyrs swing it back out. They set up for Prose. Swish!
Oh. And great ball movement by the Zephyrs on that possession as well.
11 points for Grace Prose. Already has 28 in the season opener with St. Anthony Village. Ayeni found Tana down low, but she couldn't finish. Chibichi takes the ball away. Chibichi giving Anoka a defensive edge. Holmgrenson draws the foul on Ava Shepik.
And again, Anoka gets bailed out here. A chance to go to the free throw line. But it's those, like that missed layup down there, those missed easy bunnies. Those are the kinds of things that'll drive a coach crazy.
One and one for Anoka. Holmgrenson, 2 points, 2 rebounds. Again, Anoka offensively had a tough time coming together in the loss to Forest Lake. Jump ball was called, and the Tornadoes hold the arrow.
Another opportunity here for them.
7:49 left in the first. No, possession arrows pointing to Mahtomedi. Well,
they changed?
Well, the scores table had the arrow pointing to Mahtomedi, but the scoreboard had Anoka, hence the confusion. Although in my case, I'm confused on a daily basis, so it doesn't matter either way. It doesn't take much to trip me up. Prose, 11 points already. Becker fakes. 3 straight away. Mahtomedi can't get that one to fall. And we almost had another trash can score. Alex, if I didn't know any better, I might start thinking these two are auditioning for the old Powerball game from American Gladiators, where you had to score in cylinders. Anoka gets the ball up. Oh, they've got an opening after breaking through the press.
Oh, beautiful move by
Pederson.
Pederson there. Once she saw the lane, she was taken off, and she cashed in.
And I was going to say, Alex, for much as Anoka has been struggling to find their shot, it's only a 4-point margin, so it won't take much to turn the tide, rewrite the narrative. Prose, Anoka mindful of her 3-point prowess already. To the corner they go. Now back out, Blaisdell. Knocked away by Anoka.
Again, I really like the patience that's being shown by this Mahtomedi team in their half-court offense.
It helps when you have someone like Grace Prose, now a junior, who is competent and reliable with their shot. Foul on Anoka. They had 2 to give. Blaisdell to inbound. Prose attacks. Had her drive disrupted at the last minute, and it looked like her cadence was thrown off rhythm. Chibichi left alone. She'll launch. Her 3 is long. Prose with the rebound. Dummermuth looking for Prose.
Pederson got her hand on it.
It was touched, and then Pederson calls the foul, but you were right, Alex, on top of it. And a reminder, if the other team deflects or makes a touch, you can go to the backcourt to retrieve. I'm sure most of you knew that, but you never know. There might be some new faces because every year brings new players who are high school eligible. Prose, 3-ball. Cannon from the corner. Ayeni with the board. The lone tower this year after being part of the Twin Towers last year alongside Maddie Frecking, who's now playing softball at St. Thomas. Holmgrenson was in a heap of trouble, throws it away. Mahtomedi will shoot free throws. Mira Nelson in game 1 did not score, had 4 rebounds. And we'll get our first timeout with 6:04 left in the first half. 18-13, Mahtomedi over Anoka. Alex, Mahtomedi, a little more patience, but what I'm seeing out of them, they're having a hard time finding production outside of Prose. And with the transfer of Sarah Popard to Hill Murray, again, that's going to be their quest, at least in the early part of the season.
Yeah.
But what changes, I don't want to say surprise you, with this new season? We have a lot of faces that transfer. Minneapolis North gained Nyra Gorman, and she's off to a great start. Naima Montgomery went from Cooper to Como Park. We mentioned Paul Park going from Mahtomedi to Hill Murray. And Olivia Bell, who was part of the Hopkins team that won it all last year, moving to the defending 3A champion, Benilde St. Margaret's Red Knights. That one was the most surprising. I think what fascinates me most is how the transfer game, the transfer portal, if you want to call it that, there really isn't a term per se at the high school level, is now impacting the schools outside the traditional powers.
Yeah.
Usually we hear about new arrivals at a team like Hopkins or De La Salle or Minnetonka, teams that are expected to contend, as Malia Clay misses the front end of a 1-and-1. But to go from one state champion to another, on the surface it would seem a little bizarre, but we'll have to see how that unfolds. Blaisdell driving kick. Prose pulls up, short. If you're curious about the free throw battle right now, Mahtomedi 5 of 6, Anoka 5 of 9. 5:30 to go. Ayeni inside, money.
And if Anoka can get the ball inside, to Ayeni, and she can start producing, that's going to be a problem for the Zephyrs.
That's who they want.
That's where you got to deny that entry pass.
Ayeni has the muscle, has the height, the toughness.
Yep.
And Anoka will have a chance to tie it. Anoka, again, having a hard time finding the ball right now, finding their shot, but on the Mahtomedi side, I go back to the distribution. Prose with 11 points, the rest of the team with 7.
Well, thanks to them getting into the bonus relatively early, they've managed now to get back to within a single possession, despite all the turnovers and mistakes that they've had.
Speaking of, there's another one. The cut was a bit premature. Prose can't get the finish. Ayeni finds Clay. Clay tried to force it and traveled. If Clay had a little more of that breakaway speed, I think I would have gone for it. But I'm also up here, so it's easy for me to tell you what you should do when I don't have to execute like they do. But it's one of those things.
I like how you put that.
Well, it's one of those things I think players will learn over time. When to attack, when to back off, and when to set. Blaisdell attacks and scores.
And again, Blaisdell coming through for the Zephyrs.
First field goal for Blaisdell. Ayeni, ooh, that was close. But she spots up a dime to Jemiah.
I tell you what,
Viney.
Ayeni was pretty lucky there. She was kind of caught in no man's land there right at the center court and almost had the ball stolen away from her.
Almost traveled too. Blaisdell for 3, short. But that's what you call making lemonade out of lemons. 2017, Anoka again back to a 1-possession margin. Entry pass tipped. Holy roller, Batman.
Gravity finally worked for her on that shot.
Well, it was a fortuitous knock. It went right back out to the wing. And so they're able to spot Ayeni again, and this time she was wide open. Zephyrs coming in. It's Prose from 13. Can't get the bounce. Anoka could retake the lead. Largest lead for either side has been 7. Ayeni out at the key, or the high post, I should say. Finds Viney. Can't get the Plinko bounce. That's Clay. My apologies. I'm still working on the new names, folks. Some teams bring back everybody and makes it easy. Some teams have a new cast of characters, and it takes me a minute to get all the names and numbers.
I think as
straightened
this
out.
contest is going on, I think Anoka is slowly starting to figure things out. Getting the ball to Ayeni is going to be key for them, but they've got to cut down on the errors.
Prose, side fade, pulls up from the elbow extended, came up short again, scramble for the ball. This time Anoka holds the arrow. No, they got a timeout. I stand corrected, timeout. Anoka's first. 2:45 left in the first. Mahtomedi in the Metro East, and you have to think Hill-Murray should win that conference given the talent they have.
Well, again, Hill-Murray is one of the 2 top teams in that Section 4 Class 3A.
It will likely come down to them and De La Salle, and of course at De La Salle, I'll see them tomorrow in their game against Orono. They have some questions. Who's going to take over for Anisha Scott? Interestingly, there is some difference of opinion as to who will win the 3A title. Eric Bugard, in his season preview, tabbed Orono as the team to watch in 3A. Benilde St. Margaret's, they've won 3 in a row, so you have to think they have a good chance. I've also heard Marshall and Stewartville get thrown out there. Marshall, of course, we don't get to see them often, but they always field versatile athletes. Stewartville, I think it would be a tougher climb for them. I feel whoever gets out of 6-3A will be a favorite, especially if it's Orono or Benilde St. Margaret's. Double bonus now for Anoka, and that is Holmgrenson, who misses the front end. Another split for Anoka that does tie it up at 20 with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first half. The Thanksgiving tip-off weekend. A big day on the calendar for girls hoops. Here's Prose. Over to Lucy Peer. They'll get the foul call inside. And if that's on Ayeni, that would be her second.
You know, made a little mistake down there, I think she did, putting that ball on the floor, because when you do that, you lose a second.
But an empty possession for the Zephyrs. Tana picks it up, goes for the runner, short. Got her own miss. Ayeni, oh boy.
Oh,
what
wow.
the heck?
I wouldn't have guessed that she would have taken that shot, but she sure made the most of that opportunity.
She never told me she was working on her three-point shot. Deborah Ayeni up to 8. Well, I'll be a ding-dong-dang. Anoka trying for the pick 6. 8 on the shot clock for the Zephyrs. It's Peer. 5 to shoot. Mahtomedi from 14. Good defense by Anoka again. They covered up all the open spaces. Ayeni this time feeds it. Pederson can't knock down the 3. Blaisdell looking for a 3 of her own. It's short. Ayeni grabs that rebound tighter than the lid of a pickle jar. Pederson foul from behind, and she'll have a chance for free throws here with Anoka in the double bonus.
Shane, you know, I just noticed here on that last possession, one thing that Mahtomedi wants to avoid here is becoming a little too one-dimensional, settling for 3-point shots.
And even though it hasn't been pretty, Alex, Anoka, they're on a 13-3 run. They trailed 17-10.
That's right.
18-10, I think, actually. And Pederson will take another split. Largest lead of the game for Anoka. Blaisdell goes inside and unable to get the bank was number 32. I will figure out who number 32 is at halftime because I don't see one on the roster. Prose fakes, fires. No 3 this time. Anoka with 10 seconds. They could end the first half with a flare. Instead, the knock from behind will lead to a jump ball. Anoka holds the arrow, so they'll have 5.2 to make something of it. And no, they will not be aiming for the trash can.
Well, one thing, again, the Zephyrs don't want to become too, finished by Pederson. I think if you're Mahtomedi, you don't want to become too predictable here. And they find themselves down. Now here at the half, 26-20.
Jayla Tana scoring off the inbound, and 26-20 is the score. So Anoka ends the first half on, unofficially, a 16-2 run.
You know, I think Anoka slowly started figuring out some things as this first half progressed, Mike. It hasn't been pretty, as we've seen, but they have slowly started to figure some things out.
We'll see if they can continue that discovery process when we come back, as both teams look for the first win of the season. This is the Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off. Anoka leads by 6.
Women's basketball has been around a long time, and we've had so many opportunities, and now we're just continuing to get more.
Susan Shudley makes a great move. Pass to Linda Shudley.
It comes back to just feeling like you're part of a sorority of women. It's really fun to see. There's a lot of pride.
The 90s, late 90s, we was pumping out great women's basketball players. And still to this day, we're still there.
Mike Peden and Alex Nagel with you. Alex getting some more insights about the new MIAC season, and we have a few insights to share here. Anoka leads Mahtomedi 26-20, ending the first half on a big run. The first half numbers, Deborah Ayeni leads Anoka with 8 points, Drew Pederson with 7. Those are your notables. Mahtomedi, Grace Prose 11 points, the rest of the team with 9. Blaisdell has 6 of them. Alex, at Mahtomedi, they've got to spread that ball around, I would think, to have a good chance of a comeback.
Not only spreading it around, I think they've got to spread out the offense a little bit, maybe create some one-on-one matchups that are more favorable to them, Mike. You know, for Anoka, meanwhile, we saw them struggle mightily at the beginning of that first half, but I think as that first half progressed, we slowly started to see them figure some things out, getting the ball into Ayeni, give her some opportunities. So now let's see how the Zephyrs adjust here in this second half. I don't think you want to settle for that three-point shot just recklessly. I think you want to try to get some opportunities, see if you can get into the bonus early on in this second half.
So the clock is not working on the video board.
Oh.
The scoreboard to our right and the clocks on the court are working. Chris Bierman's always working. Checking out his fellow conference competition in the Northwest Suburban. Coon Rapids again going up to 4A.
At least we got something working, so that's
we know
matters.
You work.
And we work, yeah.
I'm not so sure.
That's something.
Yeah, that's up for debate. But we have enough clocks working, and with the shot clock, every gym has a clock on top of the backboard now, so not too hard to figure out how much time is left. Really, Alex, I'm looking at the board. The only thing that's not working is the clock on the video board up there. Blaisdell trying to go to work. Can't get the fast break.
Boy.
Neither can Prose.
Two big opportunities for the Zephyrs right there off the bat, and they can't cash in.
2 chances from point-blank range. Those are buckets you really want to have. Shabichi doubled. Ayeni trying to run a pick and roll with her up top. Shabichi lost it. Rose, go ahead.
Some cobwebs that the Tornadoes have to shake off here.
Roseville and Totino Grace will be the next game if you're watching this on the TSB YouTube channel. And I'm guessing you are because there aren't any other video crews here. We've got the place all to ourselves. Prose in the left wing has 3 triples. Anoka with the takeaway again. Prose gets right in Ayeni's face. Prose gives up a few inches. Missed the mid-range jumper, gets it back. Shot clock, as you know, resets to 20 on an offensive rebound. Eight on the shot clock. Inside.
Oh, my.
It took a while, but Ava Shepik able to finish. 26-22.
Well, Prose couldn't get the reverse to go, but Shepik was right there for the rebound and putback.
Catch and shoot 3 for Anoka. Nothing but the bottom of the nets for Drew Pederson. (29-22). Lucy Peer went up against a wall. Mahtomedi trying to bring a little pressure. Ayeni to Pederson. This time goes for the bunny. Short on that attempt. Blaisdell gets out of trouble. Baseline J off the front iron. Zephyrs to inbound. Touch 3 for Blaisdell. Short. That will be a foul on Tana. Mahtomedi will get De La Salle.
Zephyrs getting opportunities. They just haven't been able to knock them down, Mike.
And to finish up what I was saying, they'll get De La Salle late in the season. Prose. Another jump ball. Mahtomedi with the arrow. You're right, Alex. Chance after chance for the Zephyrs. But after that hot start from Prose, they've gone cold. Just like the weather. Shepik. Bounce pass to Sufert.
Here she tries again.
Mahtomedi buries the 3 this time. That's the first triple for Blaisdell, and that's what Mahtomedi needs. It's Tana. Gets her own miss. A little too far underneath, but she will shoot 2. Tana, the senior, and again, one of the newer faces, didn't see a whole lot of time last year. Tana missing the front end. Anoka, maybe their state tournament success hasn't been bountiful compared to your champions in 4A like Hopkins and St. Michael Labreville, especially in the Lake, but they always have a way of getting in there by surprise, most notably in 2011.
It always seems like when early March rolls around, they find a way to be in the mix, at least in the conversation, as we have seen in years past.
Even in 2011 when they won 2 games in the regular season, then went on
we remember that
improbable run. From the elbow, it's Supert. Ayeni snatches it. Looking for help. And Anoka will run into a set. Actually, they'll run into trouble. Shepik with the poke and the takeaway. Prose trying to spot up from 3, goes for the baseline J.
Well, I tell you what, Blaisdell is coming up big now for the Zephyrs. 1 possession game.
29-27. High-low for Ayeni. And Deborah will shoot 2.
And Anoka went the smart route.
I am a little surprised they haven't tried more inside plays for Deborah.
Well, you're not alone in feeling that way, Mike.
I covered Deborah a couple of times in the last year or so, including a victory over Totino Grace where Frecking and Ayeni just took command of the paint and overpowered a smaller Totino Grace team. It's a split for Ayeni, but hustling for the O-board is Locketin. That leads to a 3. And Anoka will have to settle for the 1. Prose again. Faded away a little bit. Anoka adds another rebound, and Ayeni gobbling up those rebounds, probably like she gobbled up that turkey yesterday. Folks, it's my 20th season. You should know by now I'll find a way to throw in some cheesy one-liner to make you roll your eyes and wonder what I do with my life in my spare time. It's a question I've asked myself for 20 years. Off the inbound, it's Viney. Or Malia Clay.
Well,
I don't know why I'm getting Clay and Viney mixed up. I promise I will straighten that out, but Alex, Anoka, they like to run that touch shot off the inbound.
Well,
and
that
it's
was
worked out for them.
That was at least the second inbounds play that Anoka was able to cash in on.
I've seen them run that 3 times using the inbound like an entry pass. 32-27. Mahtomedi well outside the key.
Pederson again.
Pederson.
Here she goes.
All alone. Goodbye. Alex, I feel when you go that far out beyond the key, that's the risk you run into. Prose. The high entry pass inside. Mahtomedi back out they go. Prose launches. Rebound up for grabs. Another jump ball.
Could be gut check time now here for Mahtomedi, down 7. You certainly want to keep the deficit within 10 points if you can.
High-low for Ayeni. Fouled from behind. And Deborah a little displeased based on that facial expression. Again, played defensive line and tight end for football, and it's a sport she picked up when she was younger. She saw her brothers do it and asked if she could play, and her family completely supportive.
And that's cool. I like that.
Nick Novak at times was a little worried about Deborah's health because football, especially her position, is a highly physical one.
I think my UCLA Bruins probably could have used her this fall.
Well, they did get a win against Penn State. I believe that's Caitlin O'Connor who drew the foul. Another sign that it's the early part of the season. Some teams go deep into their benches. That foul just the second on number 21. Mahtomedi takes the split. Pederson missed the runner. Laakkonen got the rebound back. Holmgrenson for three, buries it.
I tell you, it's those second and third opportunities that can really put Mahtomedi in a hole here.
10-point lead for Anoka, their largest. Prose looking to break free. She's cut off by Leighton Turner. Holmgrenson. Anoka trying to get free down low. Mahtomedi read the play. Prose not quite set. How many jump balls have we had in the second half? Mahtomedi with the arrow. We've had a seemingly inordinate amount of jump balls. O'Connor spotting up Prose. Grace just 2 points in the second half so far. Fustol to Dummermuth. Mahtomedi looking for an opening from the corner. Super can't knock down the three. Board Dummermuth, and she draws the foul. Just the first on Holmgrenson. Again, the scoreboard to the left not working properly, but both teams still have a few fouls to give. Anoka with three, Mahtomedi with two. Dummermuth draws one on the take.
Well, putting a couple more fouls there on the Tornadoes. And a chance now here for Mahtomedi to cut into this deficit a little bit.
They have not had much success as of late locating their shots. Dummermuth likes wake surfing and being out on the lake.
Boy.
Of course, when you border the east end of White Bear Lake, that gives you a lot of opportunities to do so. But no points from Mahtomedi on that trip to the free throw line. Ayeni goes out. That's Clay. Blocked. Picking it up. Ayeni flips it in.
Those second and third chances that Anoka is getting.
First Laakkonen and then Ayeni. Deborah with 12. Supert was thinking about a three. Now Mahtomedi takes one. It's Dummermuth who drains it. Timeout. Mahtomedi takes it, but that three could be a galvanizing one. 40-31. The Zephyrs looking for that spark.
Well, they definitely needed that, and let's see if head coach Anisha Fisher can make some adjustments here to get back to within striking distance.
40-31. Ayeni with 12 points. Pederson with 12 points.
Yeah, I think what's interesting, when you look at Anoka, we saw Pederson had to go to retreat to the bench when she picked up her second foul, in the latter part of that first half, but it didn't hurt Anoka too much.
Anoka, they've been a regular participant in this Twin Cities tip-off. I ran into their team photographer, Olivia Anderson's father, going way back a few years. Nick Novak's first year. The Halloween capital of the world. That's Anoka's claim to fame. Not too far away, you'll also find Anoka Ramsey.
Great. I was just covered one of their games here last Friday night.
Back to action. This is Viney looking to go coast to coast and does. Well, that's how you come out of a timeout.
Jemiah Viney.
Viney, the junior, and one of the many young faces that Nick Novak talked about, the players that will need time to simmer and marinate and get a little more experience.
We saw the struggles that Anoka had early on in this contest, but as this game has progressed, we've slowly seen them. They've slowly started to figure things out.
Malia Clay called for the foul, and I saw her swing down the arm. Anoka not shooting all that well from the free throw line, 9 of 18, but Mahtomedi not much better, 6 of 11. They'll try to change that here with Grace Prose. That is the first on Clay.
And as we near the midpoint of this second half here, Mike, it's going to be critical for the Zephyrs to cash in on these free throw opportunities. And they missed. Came up empty on both of them.
Mahtomedi made their first 4 at the line. Since then, they've only hit 2 of their last 9. Ayeni doubled, tries to power through it. Tip the rebound back. Open down low is Viney. That's the risk with the double team, Alex, and attentive ones will look for the open woman. Viney with 6 off the bench. Block as Blaisdell tried to go up with it. Anoka looking to run away with this one, leading by 13. They trailed by 8. Whoops.
You know, one thing
Viney will want that one
we're
back.
seeing in this second half that we didn't see in the first half, we've seen Ayeni have some opportunities here at the high post that she didn't have in that first half, and now that's allowed some other players to cash in.
Mahtomedi, they need a source of ignition.
Here she goes
Instead,
again.
it's Tana who times it and takes it in. 46-31, Anoka up by 15, their largest lead of the game. Alex, maybe a bit early, but that could be the backbreaker or the clincher for Anoka. Prose, too strong.
And you can definitely see the length of that Anoka team really having an effect on this Mahtomedi squad.
A technical foul was called.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It's on Prose.
Really?
I wasn't
What was that?
eyeing
Who
her.
was that technical on?
It's on Prose. No, they just announced it's on Grace. That's her second. So Drew Pederson will shoot 2. She's got 12. I didn't see what happened that led to the tech. I was following the ball. But I know Grace Prose has gotten herself into a bit of a pinch before. I did the De La Salle Mahtomedi game last year as Pederson makes both free throws, and we had to stop the game for a bit because we had a dual technical situation where Prose was going at somebody and got teed up. Ayeni down low, clutches. Okay. I
now
see what
we
Deborah's
see
doing.
Anoka imposing their will with her size, especially down low.
I think Anoka has run away with this. Grace Prose sinks the 3.
Well, that's a nice response by Proser after picking up that technical, coming back and knocking down the three-pointer.
The problem is her team is down by 16. They got to get on a run and fast. Prose connects with Nelson, who drains the short-range jumper. That can help you for Mahtomedi. A quick 5 points. 50-38 now. Ayeni dumps it underneath, but Tana didn't have the best position. Alex, another stop for Mahtomedi. They could get a bucket here. Momentum would be squarely on their side. Prose through traffic. Can't get the runner. Pederson has her pocket picked. It's Dummermuth. And a 7-0 run for the Zephyrs.
Well, you know, sometimes technical fouls can have an unseen effects.
And
on a team.
unexpected, right.
Maybe Anoka, or rather Mahtomedi may have found a second win here.
An inadvertent source of motivation. Or as Michael Jordan would say, they took that personally.
Something like that. But anyway, in any effect, they had a sizable deficit now cut down to 12. Now, here in the next couple of minutes, let's see if they can get this thing back into single-digit range again.
It is more manageable. Anoka took the timeout, but that 7-0 run, exactly what Mahtomedi needed, 6:06. And now your efforts for victory are within reach.
And you have to wonder, some of those free throws that they missed earlier, had they made those, we may very well be looking at a 7 or 8 point game here instead.
Well, the free throw shooting has been a little suspect. Mahtomedi 6 of 13, Anoka 11 of 20. So percentage-wise, not a huge difference. To go off your point, Alex, about technicals being sources of inspiration, usually it's when the coach picks one up. Not so much a player, but Ayeni swarmed. Another takeaway for Mahtomedi. Can they turn this into a score? It would go a long way. Prose trying to get shooting space, backs off. Dummermuth, the runner, banks it in.
I tell you what, good possession there by the Zephyrs. Get back to 10 with a ton of time left.
A 9-0 run for Mahtomedi. When it looked like victory was beyond their grasp. Tana, yep, that's a walk.
Took
she
an
dragged
extra
it.
step.
Dragged her foot.
Now Mahtomedi, with a ton of momentum. See what they can do here.
Long
Look
skip
out.
to Blaisdell. 3-ball. That would have been huge. Anoka with a chance to push. Shabichi, who had Tana wide open. Instead, Pederson takes the 3 and misses. Nelson lets it fly. Pederson got a piece of
I
it.
think Tana got a piece of that.
That was Pederson who made the play.
Oh.
Anoka with the arrow. Both teams with 1 foul left to give, under 5 minutes to go. In our first of 5
And
here,
another
entry
steal.
pass tipped and taken by Blaisdell. Another chance for Mahtomedi to add to this run, and Prose with the high bank over Ayeni.
You talk about a sweet kiss off the glass. can't do it much better than that.
Well, sweet dreams are made of this. That's what Prose is hoping to say anyway. Oh my, Anoka throws it away. Tana wanted Ayeni. The problem was Deborah was a little further up the paint. And Anoka, who was up by 19 just a couple minutes ago,
been shrunk down to single digits here, and a chance for the Zephyrs to draw even closer.
the wheels unraveling for the Tornadoes. Prose, side fade, the three. Off the back iron. Another rebound for Ayeni. Anoka. They want to go. Chabichi. Got it. Anoka will take another timeout, but that was
needed timeout, I think, for Anoka.
and a much needed score too. Because Mahtomedi was knocking on that proverbial door. Chabichi, one of the seniors, making her final run. Not as much info this year in the breakdown about Anoka. But you suspect Deborah Ayeni will play a leading role for the Tornadoes this year.
Yeah.
As she wraps up her varsity career. It's only one game, of course. There's a chance I'll get to see these teams again. I think for Anoka, more composure is going to be necessary for them to make a serious bid in Section 7. And Mahtomedi, I still think they need to find that second option to help out Grace Prose. We know Grace can score, but she's going to need a little more help as the season moves along.
As I often tell coaches, Rome wasn't built in a day, and we'll see this Anoka team get better and better as the season progresses.
The big question is their section. Prose taking the signal, throws up a shot that is short. Lokinen picks it up. 3:21 to go. Anoka could just about cement this victory if they can add another score to their column. Mid-range J, too high. Dead ball rebound to Mahtomedi. 3:04 to go. If you're curious, both teams still have a foul to give. Mahtomedi with the arrow. Zephyrs with 3 timeouts, Anoka with 2.
Well, still a chance here for Mahtomedi, but you're going to have to make the most of your possessions now.
That can help. Just a second foul on Ayeni. Here's the thing for Mahtomedi, their free throw shooting less than stellar, 6 of 13. And like we said, they've only made 2 of their last 9. Dunruth looking to change that, but the clock stopped. Ugh.
Boy, and you'd think how much closer this game would be had they been able to convert.
I'm sure parents and players and coaches get sick of me harping about this, but you never know when you'll need those free throws. As Mahtomedi comes up empty, but an O-board gives them another try. Prose for 3. Bullseye!
Well, at least they got something out of that possession, but they did it the hard way.
That does make it a 7-point game, so Mahtomedi not out of this one. Anoka, I presume, will work the clock. Pederson, no, will fire from 15. Chases her own rebound. Viney to Lokinen. Inside to Ayeni. Deborah looking for the hammer. Got it.
Boy, Ayeni coming through big time there for the Tornadoes.
Just 16 for Ayeni, but a lot of big buckets down low. 3 ball. Dummermuth can't hit. Prose with the O-board. 9-point game, under 2 minutes to go. Mahtomedi, they have to go. It's Blaisdell, draws the foul on Ayeni. That's the 3rd on Deborah, but Alex, given Mahtomedi's issues with free throws, that may not be the worst situation.
Yeah.
Mahtomedi, by my count, 6 of 15. They need these ones. Blaisdell goes up to 10. Those are big ones. That makes it a 7-point game. No, a 6-point game. I stand corrected. 54-48. Is this the dagger? Short.
Boy, I tell you, great job by Pederson going through a minefield of players there.
Prose. Too strong. Ayeni with another rebound. Alex, if I'm Anoka, I'm laying back. I think they've played these last couple of possessions a little too fast. Make the clock your friend here, because it's only a 2-possession game. High-low. That time, Dummermuth got the best of Ayeni with the tip and the takeaway. Mahtomedi will take a timeout. They had 3. Might as well use them here because you need a couple of buckets. And on top of that, Alex, 107 on the clock. Alex, what I'm thinking here is, for Mahtomedi, it's imperative to get a score, but they also need to do it to give themselves a chance to get a stop.
Right.
You let too much time tick off, Anoka can effectively hold on to the ball.
Right. You're exactly right there, Mike. You don't want to waste too much time. I mean, if you get an open 3, absolutely you have to take it. But if you can get a good clean look down low, you want to look for that too.
Here's the thing, Mahtomedi still has a foul to give, so if you go for the 2, you're going to have to foul a couple of times.
Yeah.
They do have 2 timeouts left. I'm thinking they will look to set up Prose. She is their best perimeter shooter. And you're down by 6. You need a couple of threes to tie it at least.
Well, and then also, if you're Mahtomedi, whom to foul. You got to look at whom to foul.
And in Anoka's case, they haven't shot all that well from the line. Here's the 3 from Prose. Right idea. Rebound goes back to the Zephyrs, and there's the foul. Now Blaisdell made her last 2. It's not as ideal as making a 3, but it does give you a chance to score with the clock stopped. And that could be.
And one more foul, they'll be in the double bonus. So
and that's important to remember. This is still 1-1.
Boy.
And a miss. Ayeni. Whoa, look out. Ayeni able to eventually tip the rebound. Anoka gets it across. Anoka takes a timeout. They had 2 remaining.
We had the score earlier. It's 54-48. Now they changed it.
Okay, so a point was added erroneously.
Okay.
Well, that does change the math then. I was wondering about that.
Well, it changes the equation, obviously, now for...
I've run into that scenario with the NBL games that I've called with the Broncos and Bulldogs where points are erroneously added and not addressed. A little different at the high school level, though, because these victories, the margins, they all matter when it comes time to seed sections and the state tournament, so they are going to be a little more attentive.
Right.
But a 7-point game makes it 3 possessions, and that, again, would give Anoka, you would think, the distance they need. And if you're Mahtomedi, you're going to look back on some of those missed free throws. And this is coming from a game that I covered on Tuesday with Providence and ECU where both teams fared well. Clara Goodman. What the? Hold up. That was not supposed to happen. Nick Novak telling Chibichi to back up to get her a chance to get this inbound in. Mahtomedi, they have to foul twice. 38.9. But when you're down by 7, 3 possessions, the math just makes it difficult. Now Anoka, again, hasn't fared all that well from the free throw line, so if you can make this a foul and chase game, that helps you. Mahtomedi has to foul, though. There is a 3-second difference, shot clock to game clock. You've got to make a play for the ball. Or you can knock it off of Anoka like Dummermuth just did, but the problem for the Zephyrs is time.
Well, the door is still slightly ajar here for the Zephyrs.
They need a bucket, though, and quick. 27.5, down by 7. A lot has to go their way. Blaisdell. Too many misses down low. Just not enough makes all around. And that's probably going to do it. 11.1, that will do it. When they look at the game film, Alex, for Mahtomedi, again, just not enough consistency. Down low, they had some trouble. The free throws, that's going to sting.
Yeah.
And but again, Anoka, they're 11 of 20, so it's not like they've overpowered them, but you never know when you'll need those free throws.
At the same time, though, I like how Anoka withstood the storm. They weathered the storm. And
they trailed by 7 or 8 in the first half, ended on that 16-2 run.
And again, it wasn't pretty, but they slowly figured things out, and they found a way.
And that's what it's going to take. Free throws here are academic, but Chibichi will get a couple more. So an intentional foul was called. Blaisdell fouled out of the game for what it's worth, and Pederson will sink both. So Anoka will finish 14 of 24. And the Tornadoes, even though they had a scare late in the second half, will pick up victory number 1 of the new season. Prose with the steal, not enough time. And that will almost do it. Pederson with 16 points. And Ayeni with 16 to lead the Tornadoes. So the two college commits doing just enough. Oh, Ayeni looks like took a hit to the nose. I see a plug up there. Prose with 21, but not enough. 57-47 the final. Anoka picks up win number 1 of the new year.
You know, I just like how this Anoka team responded. You know, when the chips were down for them early on in that first half, when things were not going smooth offensively, they slowly figured things out. They settled down and found a way with a size advantage and their length that really helped them take control of this game.
That was just our first game. We've got plenty more coming your way from Galvin Court at White Bear Lake. This is the Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off on TSP Television. Anoka with a 57-47 win.